Sounds kind of weird, but go fight. Do something courageous. Earn your manhood the old-fashioned way. That's why I like to put it.
What's up, people? I'm here with my friend Phil, who's a very interesting character.
Kind of.
Kind of? I think you're interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Phil flies helicopters. He was an Army Ranger. What else is interesting about you? You've got...
I am a car guy too, yes.
Yeah, you're a car guy.
Love the cars.
I dig that. How did we meet? I'll tell you how we met. I was on this rally, this 3C rally.
3C rally.
By a crazy other helicopter pilot guy in a Jaguar. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly this guy in a 911 shows up late with like natural deerskin driving gloves and like a cigarette and tats. And I'm thinking, who's this asshole?
How many people is he going to crash into on the rally?
And then later I'm like, this is the only other guy doing donuts around a friend of ours in a rainy parking lot in the middle of nowhere somewhere. And then later I'm like, we should hang out.
Well, that's what I told, when we bumped into you guys in Cincinnati, because we showed up a day late.
Yes.
And I immediately told Carrie, I said, it's my girlfriend. I said, hey, that's the famous guy from VinWiki.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, at the rally. You know, the YouTube or the VinWiki thing blew up, obviously.
Right. Oh, and that was my Viper.
Yeah, and it's just like getting to meet the guy who actually told those cool stories, and I was a little starstruck because it's cool. It's fun to actually meet somebody. We were just talking about this, and it helps that we're from the same state.
Oh yeah.
But when you get to connect on a genuine personal level, face to face, I can actually reach out and touch you, and we can interact and tell stories and exchange information. It just makes the whole experience so much more satisfying and genuine.
Well, that's the nice thing about the internet, because it's not weird like untouchable people. It's actual real people on both sides of the camera, right?
Yes.
So you're real people.
I am mostly real.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
We should talk about helicopters.
Yeah.
We should talk about flying.
So flying is something that has been a part of my life since I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. Growing up, my dad, we had books of aviation all over the house, whether it be World War II fighter pilots, and when I was, the Gulf War was kicking off, so my dad had all the latest information in the form of aviation, like style encyclopedias.
Yeah, there's still books like you would buy.
I could research the MiGs that we were shooting down, and
what MiGs were they then?
The Iraqi Army had 21s, I believe.
Oh, 21s, okay.
I don't think they had anything greater than, they had 29s, Foggers, those are the kind of a multi-role jet, mostly for bombing, and they didn't really have the good stuff.
Yeah, right.
But the funny thing is, when you actually do a little bit of research into aviation, mostly combat fighting, now I'm sure there might be a fighter pilot out there that will correct me, but you can have a crappy old jet, but as long as you have the avionics to support a really gnarly missile, it doesn't matter what you're flying, because it's fire and forget.
It's a platform.
If you have, it's a platform, exactly. You can launch, let's say you have an old school Phoenix missile, you can launch that from a Cessna, provided, just theoretically, it probably couldn't even get off the ground with that thing.
All right, well,
but if you could fire it off a
something
Cessna,
ungainly.
Yeah, you could defeat any Russian fighter from that era.
Theoretically,
yeah. It's all about the weapon, and it's just a delivery system.
Okay, so that was your childhood.
That was my childhood. All these books, all this thing.
Is this what you're thinking when you were a kid? You're like, if I had a Cessna and I could get a Phoenix,
that's
I could jack you up.
Eccentric minds run.
That's true.
So just surrounded by all kinds of literature.
Okay.
And my dad also built model planes. He did the Model Plane Society. I'm not sure what it was, but they had these little
something like that.
Anyway, as like a little, it's kind of like a late birthday present. My granddad, when I was 4 years old, took me up in a Cessna flight for a little tour around Columbus, my first airplane ride. And my mom got me a little flight suit. She still has it at the house.
When you were 4?
Yeah, when I was 4. This little flight suit she hand sewed on like all these little patches and stuff. Yeah, and just got me so hyped up for this moment. And when we got in the airplane and took off, it just put me on a path of like, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced. And you're 4 years old. I mean, everything's cool, but it impacted me that much where I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to fly something. I wanted to be in the sky in some capacity at some point in my life.
Yes.
And It took me 28 years to do it.
Yeah.
But I finally did it.
Yeah.
I never gave up on it. It took a lot of hard work and tons of sacrifices, but I was able to get it, and it's very fulfilling. I enjoy it. I have a kind of a cool job.
Oh, for sure.
And it's very satisfying because I'm not that kind of guy that could be stuck inside an office.
Right.
I got to be outside. I got to be doing something challenging and engaging.
You got to have something that matters.
Yes,
at that moment.
Well, that's a very good thing because having purpose.
Right. Yeah.
That's like one of the biggest problems with our society. People get depressed and everything.
They don't feel like they have a purpose.
Especially
they're not part of the community.
My other veterans, yeah, they just don't have a purpose anymore.
Right.
You just got to go out there and find it. And I feel I have genuine purpose with my job and then flying the helicopter.
And you get to utilize your skills
yes.
to a large percentage.
Yes.
Whereas other places you wouldn't. And you wouldn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah. I mean, I could sit there and probably study math and get really good at math and go be an accountant, but flying a helicopter, it's very visceral, it's very analog.
So what is the purpose of you flying a helicopter? What do you actually do?
So, without giving away too many details, I don't want to get in trouble by my contractors or anything, but I utilize the helicopter around power lines to keep the light on for millions of customers.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'm a contract utility helicopter pilot. I work around power lines.
Low altitude, highly perceptive, very important.
Yes, I trim trees with the skids all day. When I get 500 feet AGL, 500 feet above the ground, I get a little nervous. I don't like being that high. I like being nice and low.
There's something odd. I don't know why. I feel the same way with flying. I feel oddly comforted to be low. I know that's backwards, that altitude is insurance and airspeed is life.
Yes.
But I like being low.
It's weird. Well, the good thing about the aircraft I fly, the MD 500, McDonnell Douglas 500.
Is that the same as the Magnum PI Island Hopper?
Yes, the same one.
Yes.
It's like one of the best aircraft ever made. Like mine, the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
It looks old, and it's the aircraft we flew in together was manufactured in 1981, and it shows. She's old.
Hey, I was manufactured in 1981.
She's old. I'm a few years after you, so I know what it's like.
Fair enough. Your warranty still good?
No. Knees, back, everything. Army ruined my life.
Okay.
Physically, at least. But no, it's just I don't know where I was going with that, but.
Oh, the old bird flying that. Okay, so what you do particular. So it matters on a daily basis.
Yes, and I usually have a passenger flying with me.
Yes.
So that just gives me more purpose to make sure that, I'm safe, efficient, and practical.
Yes.
Within the cockpit.
You have to coordinate with a ground crew of some kind doing this too.
Some times of the year, because I have different roles that I fulfill in the company.
Okay.
And I do have a ground crew that I coordinate with, and mostly the summertime.
Okay. For anybody that might have seen the past video where we were flying together and saw your helmet, that saw leaves, would you clue those people in?
So when I fly out of state and pick up customers that aren't Ohio State Buckeye fans, they're like, why do you have a bunch of pot leaves on your helmets? And they're not pot leaves, they're Ohio State.
Yeah, Buckeye leaves.
Buckeye,
yeah, like from the helmet.
From their helmets, yeah. We started that. I thought it'd be cool to do on mine. And it just...
And you realize the whole world is like, why does your pilot have pot leaves? They're not pot leaves.
Is this guy high right now flying?
It's the Buckeyes.
Yeah,
right. It's hilarious, though.
I'm a big football fan, obviously. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I took that flight when I was 4 years old.
Yes.
And that was the last flight I took for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I went on a German vacation with my German class in high school. We flew, Lufthansa across the pond and back. Those were the only two flights I took as a child.
Oh, really?
But I just never gave up the interest for aviation. No matter how old I got in my household, my dad would get new books related to aviation. He'd build new models.
That's cool. Radio control models?
No, he built the just static models.
Smaller ones.
Yeah,
just like all history on
mm-hmm. Yeah, he would spend an ungodly amount of money on resin kits from Japan.
Oh, the really fancy ones.
And he'd have like 10 different shades of one gray just so he can impart like a handprint on a joystick that on something, microscope.
Yeah.
He's a total nut about it. But having that and then going to air shows, that's tremendous. If you ever have a young person that has that aviation bite, take him to an air show, let him hear what real jet engines sound like.
Dude, my earliest childhood memory was being held by my mother at Burke Lakefront Airport in probably like 1980. I was like 2, I think, 1983, and the Thunderbirds were there, and they all took off under full afterburner. Mm-hmm. That was literally my earliest memory. Was like I felt like I could see the sound as a child.
It's a trip, yeah. The first time I heard a sonic boom was a Strike Eagle. So I got another good. So this is at Rickenbacker's air show, and this was in the early 90s. Forgive me, I don't have the exact year, but it was the year that they debuted the B-2 to the public.
Oh, really?
So it led up to the debut with a Strike Eagle, F-15 Strike Eagle, afterburners going Mach at Rickenbacker, and it was the first time you hear something, that kind of noise where you can feel it inside your body. It's incredible. And then the announcer at the air show said, "Oh, we got something special for you." And then just out of the horizon, I'm not kidding, you've got to look this up, a B-2 bomber.
Yes.
Doing a corkscrew ascending, and everyone just lost their minds, because it's the first time since the 60s have we seen a flying wing flying.
Yeah. And
not
I'm
to
doing
mention
a corkscrew ascent.
Yes, really cool.
Wow.
Now it might have been like a bank angle, but I remember as a child, like, yeah, I'm just
like,
whoa, that's really cool. Yeah. And it blew my mind. So all these little things just, keep going into my lust for being a pilot or flying something.
So when did you start looking at going into the military, and did you have ambition of flying in some capacity?
Yes, that's the whole reason I want to go in the military.
Okay.
Because I grew up watching Top Gun all the time.
You're watching my bike build right now.
Yes.
Wait, you gotta build yours.
I gotta get there.
It'll happen.
I'm gonna pay that.
Or you can ride mine and I'll take the Ducati or something. Just don't wreck it. You have to be good.
There's a reason why I'm not allowed to ride motorcycles right now, but you don't want me to ride your bike. I'll drive the Viper, but not the bike. Let me kill myself and destroy my own bike on my own time.
Fair enough. Okay, so military aviation.
So my dad kind of grew me for the Army. One, because men in my family, we're wild. We're not the college type. We're not the school type. So he spent my whole childhood, trying to, not blow up the house.
Yeah.
Not shoot birds down in the neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
Not ramp the bike off the second story.
This is
stupid stuff.
This is what I remember as being a child. I don't know why this seems wild.
Stuff like that. So he kind of grew me for it. Plus, he was a NAM vet.
Okay.
So it was like kind of like a destiny.
Wait, and your grandfather was in Okinawa in World War II?
Yes.
Same place as my grandfather.
Same year.
Yes.
Same year. So, and he was in the Army as well, right? So my granddad was a captain, and he was in charge of, I guess, kind of like the original or early versions of the Pathfinders for the Army Air Corps, back when there actually was an Army Air Corps. So they would go out behind the Marines and establish runways, so they could start running in supplies and stuff.
My granddad was doing it too.
And he got into a big fight. My mom has it. She can't find the DD-214, but she has he got a silver star with his 1911 fending off his position.
Yeah, that's nuts, with the 1911.
Yeah, crazy.
My granddad had a Bronze Star in Okinawa, and his was for saving people, like medic, running water and bringing people out. So
we hear these stories from our father figures and grandfather figures that we look up to a lot, and it's like, why wouldn't you want to go have this great sense of adventure?
Right.
Go out in the military and go see the world. Sounds kind of weird, but go fight. Do something courageous. Earn your manhood the old-fashioned way. That's why I like to put it.
My mother was a little too influenced by the hippies, so she ended up kiboshing that. So, I ended up doing race cars and motorcycles. And my granddad taught me to shoot when I was a kid. So that's good. That's
what I want to do, but we were too poor. My dad knew that I would be absolute hell, even more hell on wheels, if I were to get a dirt bike.
Yes.
And then we had a kid in the neighborhood who had a quarter midget.
Yeah.
And got big into racing. I think now he's involved in NASCAR somehow.
Oh, wow, okay.
But it was like, I want to drive something. I want to go fast.
Right. Okay, so we're sidebarring.
We're sidebarring, yeah.
Aviation, military.
Aviation, military. So I started talking to a recruiter around 17.
Okay.
And just being totally obsessed with Top Gun as a kid. I was like, I want to fly F-14s off a aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
I want to be a naval aviator.
Yeah.
That got shut down pretty quick. One, I wasn't really, like I said, I'm not a school guy, so I didn't have the grades on paper.
Yeah.
I would like to think I'm a fairly intelligent person, but just not on paper. And then two, I had didn't have, back when this would have been 2002, 2003, and they would not allow, you had to have natural 2020 or better.
Okay.
I did not have that. It was uncorrectable. You had to go in perfect. So that shut it down. When it's like, well, I guess I'll jump out of airplanes.
Okay.
So I went in the Army.
Yeah.
And infantry, airborne school, became a Ranger.
Can you kind of direct that initially and be like, I like this? Or how does that work?
Well, it was like, I'm an aggressive guy.
Yeah.
I like fighting.
Right.
So it's like, well, I want to shoot people.
You and I either would have been best friends in high school or we would have hated each other.
No, we would have done with my best friends growing up. We would have had one day early and meeting each other.
Oh, yeah.
And we would have thrown
fists. It would have been bloody.
And we would have been best friends.
Yeah.
Inseparable. That's how it works. Those are the best kind of friendships.
True.
I lost my train of thought.
Jumping out of planes.
Jumping out of planes.
That's your second deal.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to fight. And it's like if I can't shoot bad guys down with an airplane, I'll shoot them with a machine gun.
Fair enough.
With a parachute strapped to my back. So that's the route I went.
Okay.
They offered me actually when I went in there, the recruiter, he was like, well, you can be an 88 Mike, which is a truck driver. Mm-hmm. He's like, or you could be infantry. And I can guarantee you airborne school, which is a total lie.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait a minute, you mean the paratroopers? He was like, yeah. I was like, all right.
But you got in. You ended up going that direction.
That's exactly where I went. Yep.
I'll be darned. When? How soon in that you started going that path? That you started doing aviation-related Army infantry stuff.
So once you go through basic and back in the day it was called AIT. I'm not sure all the new military lexicon. I kind of gave that life up.
Fancy word.
Yeah. But it was AIT or Advanced Individual Training. In my case, it was infantry training. All done at Sand Hill, Fort Benning, Georgia. And then I had like a week off once I graduated AIT. And then we ran down to airborne school. I think we ran down. They made us run.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. We got bused from what's it called? Sand Hill. Mm-hmm. I think that's this. Infantry, home of the infantry. We got bused down to airborne school, and then within 2 weeks, you're jumping out of the airplane.
Nice.
We ran to RIP though. They made us get all our bags. They're like, oh, you want to go be a Ranger? Yeah. Okay, go to Ranger Introductory Program. By the way, it's 2 miles down the road.
Oh, really?
So get your stuff and start running. Yeah. If you fall out, you're already done. I don't know if that's true or not, but they use these tactics to motivate you to run.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get there, you get smoked. Anyway, it's a terrible experience.
Fair enough.
But yeah, within a couple weeks, I was doing that, jumping out of the aircraft, which was just very intimidating.
Yes. What was the aircraft you were jumping out?
C-130.
A C-130. Okay.
C-130.
Out of the back?
No. So the C-130, same as the C-17, when you do static line jumps or static line mass jumps, they have 2 doors on the aft portion of the aircraft that slide up.
Okay.
And you have a jump master and a safety, and they stand there and they catch the static lines, and then you just do a right face or a left face and exit the aircraft as vigorously as possible.
Mm-hmm. Just
go.
Fair enough.
Remember your training. Keep the proper form, and you should be okay.
Right.
But all in all, I think when I got out, I had like roughly 60 jumps.
Okay.
Which is kind of average for someone who's been in 8 years. You don't do it a whole lot because it costs the government a lot of money.
Okay.
And I think we, as per regulations at the time, we only needed to jump once every 6 months.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was kind of terrifying. And then the crazy part was, you're all nervous on the airplane. You're sweating bullets. You're nervous.
It's the first time, right?
Yeah, and I'm 18 years old. I've been getting yelled at for like the past 5 months of my life, just getting grilled. I'm just absolutely terrified to do anything wrong.
Uh-huh.
And you get out the door. It's extremely violent.
Oh yeah.
You get the rotor wash, the
prop wash. Just blast, prop blast.
Yeah, prop blast, and then just exiting the aircraft at 120 miles an hour.
Sure.
And you got the parachute, and it opens up, and it's violent, and then all of a sudden, just pure calmness. And you can't really hear anything. Your ears are already like just ringing from being inside the aircraft. But it's just so calm and peaceful and pleasant for like a moment. Then you snap back, and it's like, okay, I got an objective to do.
Right.
And if I had to do this in real life against one of the presidents who was like, hey, we need to invade these guys right now, and I had to go do that, you'd have that one moment of peace before you got to start dropping bodies. It's really weird. It's little things that kind of go through your head. But I never wanted to give up on that. It's so corny, but you hear all the time, do what you want to do when you were a kid, but don't give up on a dream. And in my case, not to like gloat or anything about it, I did it, and it was the best decision I've made as an adult.
How long before you're out before you decided to actually start flying helicopters and you decided, I'm going to do this?
That was the toughest part, was the transition from military to civilian life.
Okay.
Especially going from getting in early in the Iraq War and then into Afghanistan and seeing action and really just kind of having an interesting time in the Army, so to speak. And then and I did that when I was 18.
That's
so in a
thing,
sense, you put this 18-year-old kid whose brain's still developing, institutionalize them, program them, because the brain's still developing. You can still mold them. They're like clay, and then dump them out in the streets. Right. And this is back when the VA was real bad. So you just kind of freaked out for a minute. The first year was a little rough, trying to figure out how to do things, how to write a resume.
Was it little things?
Little things like that. How to write a resume.
I mean, those are big things, but they were like...
Yeah, I've never rented an apartment.
Right.
I didn't... It was funny, the girl I was dating at the time, she had to tell me, hey, you got to call the gas company to turn on the gas. And I was like, little stupid things like that. You would say, man, you're so dumb, you don't know that? And it's just like, no. They don't teach that stuff in high school, unfortunately.
No, they don't.
Yeah, how to pay bills, how to do your taxes, stuff that actually matters.
We should start an instruction manual for young men.
That is a great idea.
Do they do that?
I mean, I have the Ranger Handbook, but does it give you any practical life
Fair enough.
life lessons?
All right, so when you're
I had a year, and it was a little rough, but I stayed true, and I was like, okay, I got to do this.
Was it also kind of edgy because it's like there was nothing happening and nothing you had to do,
it's
and no
the
structure?
Unknown. Yeah, it's the unknown. It's like I could do whatever I want. And like, as soon as that clicked, and it sounds so silly, but it takes some time for that. Something so simple to click, and it's like, I could do whatever I want. I don't have kids. I wasn't married at the time. I had no house. All I had was a car.
Yeah.
And it's just like, let's do it. Let's go for it. So I did all the VA paperwork to apply for flight school that's accredited by a college. And then that really, just doing the first bit of paperwork. It's like, all right, I started now. Might as well finish it. Might as well see it through. And you got to do a bunch. Back in the day, you had to do a bunch of paperwork for the VA.
Okay.
You had to submit all that stuff in. I had to get transcripts from high school and things like that. The paperwork side took a couple months to get ready, and then I got the class list. I'm like the worst college. I dropped out of college. I'm like the worst college person. But when you get your schedule, I guess when they email it to you, your semester or whatever it's called.
No, that's not what that is. I don't know.
You get your schedule, yeah, and it's just like packed all my crap in a car, in a cat, and drove
in a cat.
I got a good story about that one, and then drove all the way from Central Ohio to Southern Utah to start flying. That's where you did your school. Okay. That's where I went to college and flight school.
Okay.
And the first day I took a helicopter ride, it was just like I made the right decision. Yeah. Because they gave me one control at a time. Okay. So the certified flight instructor was like, all right.
So like a collective throttle, you stick initially?
Yeah. And then eventually worked me into the pedals. And it's just like, I have never flown an aircraft in my life. And within a half an hour, I got one control, two controls, and it's just the coolest. It's everything I thought it was going to be.
Right.
It's scary because it's like one of those situations where you don't, like, what happens when you meet your hero? Yeah. Mine had a good ending, thankfully.
I never flown in a helicopter until I flew with you. I'd only ever flown in a fixed wing aircraft. Yes, loved it.
Oh yeah, it's way different. It'd be like riding in an airplane. It'd be like riding in one of our Mercedes, with all the nanny aids activated, just nice, soundproof, comfortable. And then getting in the helicopter is like getting in the Viper with the windows down.
Right.
You can feel everything.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah.
It's like it's alive.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is just the nature of it. Yeah, it is like it's alive, but. Well, you can. It's different. You can stop. You can go backwards. It's a totally different nature and command of the airspace you're in.
It is the weirdest, like, physics brain dump you can imagine of like what's going on at all times.
Right.
It's really mind-boggling.
Yeah, that was awesome. So this is a fascinating story because you always wanted to do that. You got in the military. You didn't have your dream initially with that, but you did something that mattered to you with your intelligence and acumen and concentration while you're there. And then when you get out, because of Uncle Sam, you got the ability to then go do your dream anyway for your civilian life and career.
And unfortunately, I was talking to a kid who he's at the Ohio State University pilot program, but unfortunately, flight schools are extremely expensive.
Oh, they're stupid expensive.
Unbelievably. And he can't do it anymore. And he asked me, he was like, is there any kind of hack? Any trick you can give me?
There are a few tricks.
There are a few tricks, and unfortunately, the only trick I know that works is you got to go in the military.
Yeah.
Get that GI Bill.
In my hometown of Tiffin, there was one day an Air Cobra broke down on the way coming over town, and they landed.
A World War II Air Cobra?
Wait, I'm saying this wrong. No, wait. Sorry, Internet. I screwed it up. Apache? Badass 2-seat attack helicopter?
Yeah, AH-64?
Yes, that. Yes. Broke down in Tiffin, lands there. I'm like, I'm going to go make friends with these dudes. And it was like a privately owned one later or something. So they sent, a friend of mine was a flight instructor, so they sent him with the plane to go get whatever part they needed. So the pilot and I, we went and got dinner. And I remember him telling me, he's like, heck, the way to do it if you want to fly is go into the military. You fly in the military, they pay for your school and they pay for all that. They might send you where somebody's going to shoot at you, but on the plus side, you get to shoot back.
Yeah.
That was his line.
You usually have bigger guns too.
Right. So,
or the power of a radio that brings in even more big guns.
What would you say as a closer to everybody young wanting to fly for fun or a career, and what does it mean to you?
Studying. Gotta study a lot.
Yes.
I did death by note cards for hours every single day for about a year and a half as I progressed through my pilot certification. So you can still have fun, but you really got to be serious about it and really study hard, because at the end of the day, your life and the lives of your passengers are very important. You want to make sure you know everything so you don't end those. And then, like as cheesy as it sounds, but you just don't give up. Do whatever it takes. If you got to break up with your girlfriend, if you got to sell your house and move across the country, don't let anything get in your way.
Fair enough.
Be like a juggernaut. Just if you want to do it that bad, give it hell. Don't stop. It took me about 8 months to save up for the money just to move out to Utah and then have enough money to supply rent, because I didn't know if I was going to get what kind of jobs are out there or anything like that. And it was a small town, 8,000 people.
Ooh, yeah. Did you get a job?
I went through 17 or 18 job interviews in a span of a year there.
Wow.
So small town, all the good part-time jobs already spoken for.
Right.
Like you're never going to get those.
Right.
And then all the jobs I did get are all like graveyard shift. So I would do college and flight school all day and then go to a graveyard shift and then get into a cockpit with like 2 hours of sleep. So I had to, stop that after a few weeks, but it sucks.
You just got to do it.
You just got to do it.
Cool, man. Well, hope you guys have enjoyed this. I got more with Phil coming up, but thanks, man.
So.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me.
We love your channel. Our family watch it all the time.
Do you guys?
Yeah.
Even when I shoot my mouth off on stupid things?
I wouldn't say they're stupid things. They're great life lessons.
Fair enough.
There's always something that somebody can take from them and put to good use.
I appreciate you saying that. In the meantime, I hope you guys will like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.